Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Kim from allthingsdrone.com. Thanks for checking out my live. I've had a little bit of some technical difficulties this evening, but I'm on. Glad to be here. And let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching, if this is your first time here, go ahead and drop a like as well as subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about drones and like drones for beginners, tips for beginners, and things like that. So, today's live, I'm going to talk to you about the DJI Mavic Mini, or well, the Mini 3. They've dropped the Mavic now. So the Mini 3 is been rumored to come out. And let's take a look at the tweet that started it earlier this month. So on March 1st, we have a tweet from a long time, like um just a person that's always like putting leaks out there. The Twitter name is Osita LV. 1 second. Okay. So Elsita LV stated on a tweet on March 1st, make this bigger so you can see it. Before further confirmation, I'll regard this pic as joking. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little more. Okay, so let's see. So here's a picture of what is leaked to be the Mini 3. And of course, everyone when these leaks comes out, they get upset. Someone says, "Why would you even think this is legit? My 8-year-old can Photoshop better than this." Um, and then just some other people laughing and when is it going to come out? And if you're new to like DJI in general, DJI is kind of similar to like Apple. They're always coming out with something new, but it might not be just like a wow factor. It's just a little bit of an improvement, but of course it comes at a higher price tag. And usually a new model drops every year. I know for the Mavic Air, I usually can expect that in like this fall, late summertime. I have the Mavic Air 2. And so they're saying that this Mini 3 may come out in April, and just based off of this one picture. So let me just take you through like just the DJI overall camera drones. So like I said, if you're new, let's just go over what there are, the different types of drones. So let me show this. Okay, so for the camera drones, you have the FPV series, which is like first person view. You see those really cool like drones flying through the air, kind of just they look crazy, but it comes out with really great footage. You see them flying tightly through buildings. The mini series, which is the series that are of drones that are under 250 grams. And then you have the Air series and then the Mavic series. So I started out with a Mini, and the Mavic series, the latest one is the Mavic 3, which came out like late last year, and it ranges from $4,000 to $6,000. So if you're looking for something small and trying to get your feet wet with the DJI series, I would suggest you start with the Mini. And right now there is a Mini SE and a Mini 2. And I started out with the Mini because it's under 200, like I said, it's under 250 grams. That is like if you go 250 and above, you have to register your drone with the FAA. And that's like $5 for registering that. But then there's like some rules that you might have when you're like traveling out of the country, where some countries don't allow certain drones over a certain weight. So a lot of people opt for the Mavic a lot of people opt for the DJI Mini because of the size. When I started out with the Mini, I was kind of frustrated because, like I said, DJI likes to come out with drones, and sometimes they might have just a little bit of features, but they might be missing something. And when I first got the Mini, which is like the Mini one, they don't even make it anymore. The Mini was limited in the sense of it only shot 2.7K. There was some restrictions as far as geofencing, which was very annoying when I first got it. So that drone came out in late 2020, and I got that drone and I took it on my first one of my international trips to South Africa, and it was like basically I wasn't able to fly it. There was a lot of geofencing, and with DJI, geofencing is basically stating that you cannot like fly in certain areas unless you get like approval. So there's approval that you have to get through, maybe some like government approval, depending on what area you're in. But then there's approval that is with the DJI. And DJI has it where you can self unlock that so that you can apply for approval to fly your drone. When I first got the Mini, there was not that option. It came later. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I've been having tech difficulties with my camera. But anyway, sorry about that. So it came later where you are able to self unlock it. And so I ended up going with the Mavic Air 2 and getting rid of the Mini because of those limitations, especially with the 2.7K. And also the size, although it's small, I was really not comfortable with like if something were to happen, like get blowing away, and then the birds are like bigger than the drone, they were like flying around, it just made me nervous. So I ended up going with the Mavic Air 2. But anyway, so fast forward to the Mini. There's the Mini SE and the Mini 2, and the Mini 2 basically has what I wish the Mini that I had. So basically, it has you can, it's a 31-minute flight time, level 5 wind resistance, and you have 4K video. And basically, you have that feature and some other cool things about the Mini 2. But the 4K was very impressive because, like I said, when I first got the Mini, it only went up to 2.7K. And when you have like a phone or a camera, like a handheld camera that you're using that shoots 4K, and then you're limited by a drone, that's why I made that decision. So there's some different like basically shots you can get with the DJI Mini 2, and you can do like panoramic shots and wide angle and things like that. So um, this price point is about $449. That's just with the drone alone. So that's the DJI Mini 2. That's the latest Mini. If you're looking for something more along the lines of less than $300, you could get the DJI Mini SE, but it's basically the DJI, or it's basically the Mini that I had in 2020, because the limitations here are it goes to 2.7K, and I mean, it's a good starter drone if you're looking for something like that. But the 2.7K, if you're not bothered by that, does you are able to do quick shots, which are really cool. So quick shots are like when you see these, these shots right here where people are doing some of these things on Instagram where they're zooming out. So these are programmed into the DJI Mini SE. And let's see some other things. So this starts at $299. So it has 30-minute flight time, and it talks about like the video sensor, or excuse me, the vision sensor and things like that. But if you look at some of my previous videos, I talk about what to look for when you're buying a drone. So although these are pretty cool things, there's some other things you need to know, like the capabilities of what all the DJI drones can do. So like for the Mavic Air, there are things that are missing from the Mini, such as being able to actively track you. So, there's drones that can actually follow you around and track you, and get footage of you. And then there's like just different features you need to be aware of that might not be on the mini series. So, back to let's look at this picture again from the leak of the Mini 3. Okay. So here it is. And then TED Talk says just crashed my DJI Mini 1. Was thinking about getting the SE, but the Mini 3 at let's see, 299 is looking good. So yeah. Let's see. Well, they haven't done the price point on the Mini 3 is rumored to come out in basically April. So they haven't done the price point. With the Mini 2 being, you know, with the Mini 2 being basically 449, I would expect either the Mini 3 to be like maybe 50 to $100 more than that, or maybe they might drop the price of the Mini 2 and then bring that Mini 3 at 449. Still too early to tell because going back to this picture, it has, let's see, it has basically DJI Mini 3. And again, these are like rumors. So of course, everyone's saying this looks very photoshopped, and it does. But typically, when these rumors come out, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like there's something behind it, something to be said about what this rumor is. It's just like a matter of what is this actually going to look like in the final results. So let's see. It has like a professional. It has the pro on it, which makes me believe like there's going to be something like a professional version of this. And I like Ted is saying like, do you think the controller will actually come with a screen though? So since this is saying that it's going to be a pro, I'm wondering, is that why they have this professional basically remote controller? In the past on the minis, they have not, but I know a lot are leaning towards, like the models are leaning towards the professional or basically the smart controllers. And I know like with the latest 3, there are some of the smart controllers out there. I would actually prefer to get a controller like this with the screen on it because I have this is what comes with like the Mini 2, like this size, where you clip on the phone basically here and then attach it. So this is like the standard one. So it could be, hopefully maybe there's an option to do both. um, and let's see. The reason I would prefer like a controller like that is because when I hook up my phone, I have to take it out of the case because it doesn't fit in the controller with the case. And you probably can't see it, but this is a S20. I've cracked it just by kind of rushing and putting the phone like in my pocket or just kind of going back and forth. So I've already uh, broken one of my phones and a couple of cracks in some other phones that I have. So the way phones cost these days versus like some of these smart controllers, you kind of have to weigh that. But I know when I'm flying, like especially in extreme brightness, like I would rather like maybe a smart controller with a hood on top, like a little hood you can put so to block out the sun, because it's very harsh when you're trying to like see your phone and everything like that. So that is my 2 cents on it. So we'll have to see if it comes with it. Maybe it's going to come with both an option. And then let's see. There's some speculation on like how these propeller or how the arms are opening out on this picture. So again, these are just rumors, but I would think if you're looking into a mini, definitely wait to see what happens because you're going to see potentially a price drop go down on the other minis. But that's just how DJI operates. They're always putting out something every year. And then you'll see a rush for people trying to sell it, and like I got the Mavic Air 2, and then shortly the Mavic Air 2S came out. So, and then I had the Mini and the Air 2 at the same time, and I had a hard time selling my Mini because the Mini 2 was coming out. So I would hold off to see what happens unless you really need a drone right now. But I just wanted to talk through like why people kind of go towards the mini series. But there's some limitations right now, but there could be some improvements going forward. I think if this mini 3 has, let me go back to the picture. If this mini 3 has like active track, so that's where it follows you around. I think that would be great. Also, some of the features like being able to do some of the quick shots, which I showed earlier, making sure you're able to do that would be great. Also, making sure you're able to shoot raw footage, so you're able to edit it. So some of these minis do not allow you to do raw JPEG or raw video. So it's kind of hard with editing. Let's see. So with the release of the Mini 3, the Mini 2 will be cheaper, possibly. So like I said, either it might drop. Let's see. Let me go hide this. So either it might drop to like so basically it could go like maybe $50 to $100 more than the $449 on the Mini 2, or the Mini 3 could come in and replace that Mini 2 price point. But since they already have the Mini SE at like $299, it's more speculative that it might go up. So like might be a little bit more higher than the Mini 2. But we just have to wait and see, especially with what features are going to be on it. My personal preference, like I was saying earlier, I just decided to do the Air 2 series, the Air series basically because of the limitations. I really the small size is cool, but like I said, people said their minis flew away, lost control of it, and it's like really small. Like some birds were like circling my drone a lot when I was flying the mini, and I just like once I started flying the Air 2, I'm just like, wow, this is what I've been missing as far as I have HDR capability on the Air 2 and all that stuff. But that the Air 2 at the time started, I did the combo package, and that was roughly, I want to say like $1,100. So that was at the time. They've come out with the Air 2S. I mean, you can find some cheap ones since then. So it's all about your price point, what you're trying to do with it. If you're trying to make money, we just have to see what's going to be the features of the Mini 3 before. But I know a lot of people that use the Mini 2 that are making like great footage, making money off it, got their Part 107 license, and are booking jobs with it. So it's all about your comfort level, all of that good stuff. So what do you guys think? Would you lean more towards a Mini 3, or would you look into, I guess it's hard to say until we see all the specs of it, but or would you go for a Mini 2? Let's see. Someone, Ray of Sunshine says, "Hey there, didn't think people would still get DJI since the regulations said they would come since it's made in China." Yeah, like I know that's always been kind of a hesitation, but people are still buying like DJI. I think it's just kind of like that household name. Like I said with Apple, it's like the Apple of drones. They're coming out with something every year. People really gravitate towards DJI. And I do want to venture out into some other drones so that I can show you all what else is out there. But for now, DJI is really like the popular one. Let's see. TED Talk says, I'm more concerned about the weight. I just want to travel with the drone and not have to worry about FAA and some countries' laws. Yeah, definitely. So that's why a lot of people gravitate towards the mini. If it gets to that point, I might have to invest in a second drone. But I haven't traveled a lot out of the country just because when I started flying the drone, I got at the end of 2020, and then 2021 and 22, that happened, pandemic. So I haven't traveled as much as I'd like to. I did travel to the Bahamas. They were more concerned about like they weren't really concerned about anything over like my Mavic Air 2 was fine in the Bahamas. I have a separate video on that, but I had to do like some approvals and all that anyway, just to bring any drone into into the Bahamas. So, but definitely the weight is a big thing. But if you're wondering like about in the States, to register a drone over 250 and above is $5. You register it with the FAA. And it's good to do that anyway, because like when I went to the Bahamas, I had to provide my FAA number. So let me know if y'all have any more questions. Be sure to give this video a like. I will do my best to go live more often on this channel. I've been kind of rusty with the lives. I have a separate channel which is about travel that I've been going live a little bit more on, but just in general, I haven't done many lives. Switched over to a MacBook recently, and my DSLR camera does not connect directly to my MacBook unless I do like some OBS janky setup. So that's another reason why I've been not going live as I would like to, but I'm gonna go live more often. So make sure you all subscribe to this channel. Be sure to share it, and I can't wait to see what this Mini 3 looks like. I'm excited about it, especially if it's gonna have some of these professional, features that um, might be, it might come in a little bit more higher price point, but I think, between the Mini 2 and the Mini 3, for a starter DJI, you can't go wrong. My only thing about the SE, like I stated earlier, is the limitation on the resolution. And that 2.7K, when I had the first Mini, drove me nuts when I was like putting all my footage together from travels, which might be a mixture of 4K and then 2.7K. So I didn't like it. And then, my goal was to make money with my drone. So I've been fortunate to already um, book jobs with my Mavic Air 2. So that 2.7K wasn't going to cut it for me, my goals of making money with my drone. Let's see. You heard about the Dollar Flight Club that brings cheap flights to your email. I believe I've heard of that. Yeah. Let's see. So let's see. Let me make sure I got all the questions. But I'm glad you all joined. Like it was cool to chat with you all. Like I said, I'm gonna go live more often. But share this live and share my channel if you find it helpful. And let's see. Oh, I do have one more question before I go. Okay, so what's the difference between 2.2K and 4K? So it's basically about HD quality. Like when you're watching some of these high definition videos, which are like 4K. So there, how there's the 1080p and then the 2.7K and then the 4K. So yeah, it's basically the pixels, but basically the resolution of the quality of the video. So when I was talking about earlier, when I would travel, I would be recording with my phone, recording with a professional camera, and just trying to mix different footage together. And the limitation on that 2.7K, it just trying to match it all together was not good. And then there was some limitation on the frames per second with the Mini, and I had the original Mini. They don't even make that anymore. Let me Yep. So they don't even actually make the one that I have anymore, or I had. You can probably find them on eBay or wherever. Just be careful when you're buying some of these things on eBay, especially drones, because you never know. what they could have been through. Mine actually, I hadn't crashed it or anything, and mine actually came with the DJI Refresh package. The Refresh, which is basically you pay like an extra fee, and you know if something happens to your drone, DJI will replace it. But of course, you have to mail in that drone. I know a lot of people have stated that their drone flew away and it's in the water, so they weren't able, unfortunately, to mail it in. So be careful. You're gonna see if this new drone actually comes out in April, you're gonna see a lot of people flood eBay. If you have, you know, a drone or you're trying to sell yours, try to stay abreast of when this one's gonna come out so that you can get it on eBay in a timely manner. Otherwise, you're gonna take like a kind of a dip. Like I sold mine for a pretty low price. You know, I still made some money off of it, but it was not what I would have liked to have made. Um, let's see. So, what's the difference between the DJI SE and the Mini One? Well, the Mini One, like I said, is not in production anymore. But to me, when I stated earlier in the stream, I think it's basically like dressed up, like they basically just changed the name. What you saw for a minute was the um, the DJI one went away, so that was just the original Mini, and then the two came out, and then the SE came out, but it was only available in certain countries, and like it wasn't available in the United States. So let me just pull the specs just to see if I can pinpoint the differences. But I know for sure what sticks out is that 2.7 let's see 2.7K resolution. Another thing about the SE, which I was mentioning earlier, is format is JPEG. With some of the other DJI drones, you'll see JPEG and RAW or whatnot. So, like I said earlier, being able to do that RAW pull down of so it's like a DNG photo is important because, like, I edit my photos in Lightroom, and you know editing a JPEG without that raw is just not. It's nice, but you aren't able to manipulate it like you are able to on some of the other footage that you would get from the other DJI drones. And let me see what else. It looks like you can go live on it, so that's cool. And one thing I saw earlier on here that was different from the original DJI Mini is the quick shots, which actually those were on the Mini, but there was some limitations on the quick shots. But these are really cool. So whatever DJI drone you have, definitely check out the quick shots. So it's like you see these, like the way they're panning around them, they are basically pressing these buttons here, like you see Droney, Rocket, Circle, and Helix. With like the Mavic Air 2, you get like a few more different options. So like on my Mavic Air 2, I like to do the tiny planet. Basically it kind of shows like you can see it on some of my Instagram pictures, but you have a few more options on the different ones. But this is a cool, start. Like I said, the only hesitation I have, and that's just for me, you really have to think about what your long term goal is. Because I ended up buying that Mini and then ended up buying the Air 2 when maybe I should have just went to the um, Air 2. But then again, some people are afraid of, crashing something that expensive. But if you're looking at DJI, like I said, if you get that refresh package, as long as you're not losing it in the water and stuff like that, you'd be able to mail it in and get a replacement. Thanks, Ted, for joining. Glad it was helpful. Glad to hear that. So, let's see. So it just depends on what your goal is. The SE may work fine for you. Let me see if there's any other things that might be kind of limitations. Yeah, I mean, it gets the job done. For $2.99, you can't really go wrong. Um, let's see. Is it easy enough to contact DJI to get approvals in geofencing area? It is not. Okay, so here's my takeaway on this. And the thing about it is a lot of other manufacturers are going towards this route. So even though a lot of people complain about DJI doing this, I even complained about it because this was on the Mini One or the Mini, and just I was not able to unlock it while I was out of the country, and they didn't even put an update on the Mini until like months later. So I got it in November of 2020. I went out of the country in December of 2020, and I was so frustrated that I just left the drone in my closet and never flew it again until the pandemic, which we were really in lockdown. I want to say March, April. So I just like went to a park and flew it, and then realized I was able to unlock it. But so here, let me see if I can pull up an example of. So the reason why I say it's not easy to unlock it, let me go 1 second. Let me just show you. Usually, what happens is so I went to, and this happens with the Air 2 that I have. It happens with all the DJIs, and I, that's the thing I was saying earlier. There could be an approval that you need, and I did a video on the apps that you need to download, and there is one that's called Before You Fly, and there could be an approval that you might need in the Before You Fly / Aloft, and there could be something going on with the DJI. So I went to Phoenix last year, and I was flying in downtown Phoenix, and before I actually should have checked before I went to the top of the parking deck of my hotel and was about to take off, and I got the notification. I actually get it when I'm in the Fly app on my phone that says I can't take off. I have to unlock. So let's show you. The painful thing about it is you unlock it, but it does not work well on mobile, like the mobile browser. So here's the unlocking request. There's actually a video, and that might be a good idea for me to show you all, like in a separate video, how that works. But once you go on there, let's see, and it's a lot easier to show when, let's see if I can pull up Phoenix. Okay, so it's not gonna be the best to show it. I'll probably have to do a separate video. But why I say it's not easy is when you're in the app, it'll prompt you to do an unlock request, but it leads you to the mobile browser, which doesn't. They say like you have to do it from a computer. So think how inconvenient that is for you to be able to. You're flying, you're already um you know on your drone, on your phone, and it says you have to do it from a computer. That's why I say it's not easy. And what I end up having to do, and I have a actual Android, have a Samsung, like I said earlier. I have to when it opens up the internet mobile browser, I click the switch over to desktop. Let me know if you're familiar with that process, Ray of Sunshine. But I click it as basically, just lost my train of thought. The desktop version of it. So that way I can apply for it that way. That triggers it. It's not the best. So you're like typing, trying to scroll around on your screen as if it's on the desktop and fill out this approval. And then you get like an unlock request. That's the only reason why I say it's not easy. So if you're out and about, I know I've heard people complain like they're out in the middle of nowhere, so they don't have the best internet connection. So it's not the best. I haven't run into it that often, but it's just something to be mindful of. And I believe I showed the before you fly in my other video. If you haven't seen it already, I have a video about like the best apps you need to download. So definitely check that out. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Okay, so let me pull this up and then I'll pull it up in my screen so you can see it. Okay, so and this is kind of going off topic, but this is cool to just kind of talk about it really quickly. And like I said, check out the other videos that I have on it. But this is the before you fly. It actually works on desktop as well as your there's an app. So there's two different things. There's a lot of things you need to check, but in addition to like maybe it might be a geofencing, that'll pop up immediately when you're in the app. And but this is a before you fly, it doesn't pop up. So I just put in the Atlanta airport area and let's see, permissible up to 0. Let me try something else because okay, so this one it says 250 feet. So when I flew in Charlotte, I use the before you fly app and I was able to get auto approval up to 250 feet. But I actually have a Part 107 license, which is what's needed to fly commercially. But there's also some additional perks that you get, such as being able to get these type of auto approvals in a controlled airspace. And there's some like new rules where now you're able to fly over crowds and at night because I have a Part 107. So that's some additional benefits of getting your Part 107, but I'm not saying go out and rush to get that just so you can fly at night and do all that stuff. But yeah, so I will look into doing an additional video about geofencing because I know a lot of people get hung up on that. But just know that other carriers are talking about it. There's some representatives that have been in like Clubhouse talking about, from Alltel and all that. A lot of different manufacturers are leaning towards that geofence or some type of authorization that is prompted because people want us to be as safe flyers as possible. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. But just knowing that how to apply for it and things like that is very good to know. So, unless anyone has any more questions, I'm making sure I got everything. Be sure that you like this stream wherever you're watching from, Facebook or YouTube, and turn on the bell for notifications. If make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications so that you'll be notified whenever I go live. And I appreciate all the questions and feedback tonight. So thanks for checking in, and I will see you all next time. Have a good evening.